I'm in my 60s, so it's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll anymore. It's sex with your wife, if you're lucky.
We could easily be dead. Neither one of us could 100 times.
Man, you have no idea, dude. I was just talking to a friend of mine from the old days. We were gangsters. I grew up in a housing project. I used to carry guns and deal drugs. I was like, well, I don't have a drinking problem. And then into a blackout drunk, just like literally weeks would disappear, and I have no idea what happened.
It's really important for men to tell their stories, because rape and men, no, that doesn't, but it's rape.
Do you both feel like your using was at that experience?
Absolutely.
That the rape was at the core of it? I'm Kat Greenleaf. This is the Soberness Podcast, where we celebrate freedom from fuckery. That's right. This is the show where celebrities spill what broke them, what saved them, and what still fucks with them today. So whether it's substances or circumstances or people, we've all been fucked with at some point by someone. And since you are part of we all, welcome. And in fact, welcome to what was supposed to be an interview with Art Alexakis, the founder and frontman of Everclear, the band from the 90s. I know you remember them. We were going to talk about his life as a rock star for 3 decades, his sobriety, his struggles. But that is not the interview you're about to hear. No. You're about to hear what happens when 2 very famous, very sober men get into a room and start swapping stories. So I was talking to Tom Arnold, just about to wrap his interview, and Art Alexakis shows up in the digital waiting room. So Tom, being a lovely, magnanimous fellow, said, "Bring him in." So I said, "Come on in, Art." And that is probably the last thing I said for the next hour. These 2 had so much in common, and in fact, in very weird, sort of disturbing ways. So I'm going to let them tell you their stories, literally, because, again, I didn't say anything. This was the weirdest interview I had since I was talking to country star Randy Travis, and Larry King crashed the interview. And that, my friends, is another story. But this, my friends, is Art and Tom. So this is weird. Do you remember that band Everclear?
Oh, yes.
So Art Alexakis
Yes.
is my next guest, and he's in the waiting room. Do you know him? Should I let him in?
I love him. Let him in.
All right, stand by.
Let him in. Have we been keeping him waiting?
Hey, Art. I've got Tom Arnold here on the show
Hi,
as
Art.
well.
How are you, brother?
Tom, how are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Very excited to hear your episode. My episode was bullshit, but I'm very excited to hear you. I'm very excited. Big fan. Very excited to hear you.
Man, we met somewhere once upon a time, like on a record or something. Didn't
Yeah,
we?
more than once. So, but Art also, musicians have the best, not comedians, but musicians that have been on the road. You sit and talk to them, and their stories are so funny, because they're, it's this different life. And if you're a comedian or an actor, you want to be Art. You want to be that guy. That's your dream. Or to be LeBron James. Something greater than yourself. And it's always great to be a fan of something greater than yourself. So, anyway, I can't wait to see
that's some big love.
That was waxing very poetic, Tom, and I think you're right. But I got to just say, musicians live that life, but fucking professional sports people, oh my God. You have no fucking idea how botched those people are.
Oh, I had a sports show. One of my favorite things I did called Best Damn Sports Show Period on Fox Sports. And he's absolutely right. And it's like there's so much going on with women, wives, women, drugs, booze, going to parties. Like it's a full life. And then they're, supposed to be show up for the sports. But it is crazy, and it's all kind of set up when you first get into those teams. They're like, okay, here's what's going to happen. So, and they seem to enjoy it.
It's very insular, man. They protect their own, right?
They do. There's a bubble.
They allow you to see what they want you to see, but when you pierce that veil, it's like, I'm like, fuck, this is way more rock and roll than my life. I'm in my 60s, so it's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll anymore. It's sex with your wife, if you're lucky, right? Not drugs, food. You know, you go to one of my concerts backstage. Like right now, we're on tour for the 30th anniversary of our first big record, and there's all these tattooed rock guys backstage. You know what we're talking about? Hey, man. So yeah, you did this thing with the chicken. You cooked that in the bus. Really? You sauteed that in an electric skillet, and then and then we take the form and I use paprika, right? You know, and we're talking about that. Hot chicken walk by, and we'll look at her. We'll go, hey, yeah, but what about that brisket?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't get you divorced.
Right. No, I understand. There's no shame in getting older. It's an honor to be older. First of all, people are like, "Are you bummed you're getting old?" Tom, like, I am honored to be alive. I love being alive. I'm 66 and a half. My kids are 12 and 9. I'm a single dad.
Damn.
And, it's the best life. And we could easily be dead. Neither one of us could 100 times.
Man, you have no idea, dude. I was just talking to a friend of mine from the old days. We were gangsters. I grew up in a housing project. I used to carry guns and deal drugs. This was 70s, late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. I didn't get sober till 89. I got off dope in 84, but I kept drinking and I was like, well, I don't have a drinking problem. And then into a blackout drunk, just like literally weeks would disappear, and I have no idea what happened until I left work one day in San Francisco on Wednesday night and thought, you know what, I'll stop and have a drink. And I walk into a bar, I see two punk rock girls sitting at a table smiling at me. I walk over to the table. That's all I remember till Sunday morning. I wake up and I'm in my bed at my house, covered in I don't know what. One of those tattooed punk rock girls naked next to me in bed, and my wife is 5 feet away, sitting on the floor with her face in her hands. And she had thought I was dead. She was going through morgues. She was going through the morgues looking for me. And that was my bottom. That was when I hit bottom. I put the girl on a cab, got on a bus. 2 weeks earlier, some smart ass kid at a record store downtown in the Galleria, it was like, he goes, yeah, you kind of remind me of me. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm killing time in there till the bars open up, right? And because I took a break from work, like, oh, I don't feel good. I need to go get a couple of drinks. That's what I need to do, and brush my teeth, right? I had my own toothbrush and thing, and I thought I was fooling people. I wasn't fooling nobody. Anyway, homeboy goes, no, you remind me of me when I was still drinking. I go, oh, you think I'm an alcoholic? He goes, no, I don't think you're an alcoholic. I know you're an alcoholic. It's 10:30 in the morning. Your hands are shaking. You're sweating. You smell like a brewery, and you haven't changed your clothes in 2 days? I'm like, fuck you. And he gives me a number and goes, call me if you want to go to a meeting. And I walk to the door. I turn around. He waves at me, and I rip it up, throw it in the trash. And then 2 weeks later, after waking up in bed with that woman and my wife just losing it, I go down to the gallery about 10:30 in the morning. Homeboy's in there opening up the record store. I go, you said you took me to a meeting. He goes, I'd love to, dude. I'd love to. I get off at 5, come back. I'll take you to a meeting. I go, fuck that. You said you were going to take me to a meeting. I need to go to a meeting right now. You guys know that feeling, right? When you're just like,
Yeah.
you said that. You turn into like an 8-year-old. And he just looks at me and he goes to the gal. He goes, I'm going to be gone today. And takes me to 3 meetings. In the 3rd meeting, I had that white light moment, literally, of surrender, of like, I can't do this. I am powerless. I'm just powerless. I can't do this. And all these people, literally, I felt like a white light coming down, and all these people I've never met before, and I don't like to be touched. And they're touching me, and I am just crying I didn't cry in front of people. I was a tough punk rock guy. I didn't cry in front of people. And that was my moment. And even though I've been dry drunk at times, I've never lost sight of the fact that I was powerless. And that was 36 and a half years ago. And I've never used or um, anything, drugs, alcohol, anything.
And she's still your wife.
No, that was my first wife. I'm with my fourth wife now. When success happened, yeah, I had the trophy wife. It was fun. She wasn't an alcoholic. She was a problem drinker. I was her problem.
Right.
That's great.
You two have a lot in common. He also has 4 wives.
Yeah, I have 4 ex-wives. 4 ex. I haven't had a date in 9 years because, as I said, you can have 3 ex-wives and still kind of go women, right, buddy? But if you have 4 ex-wives, you go, holy, it's me. So I'm pacing myself. Your fourth wife seems amazing. So if things go sideways, give her my number up here.
My fourth wife, I've been with my fourth wife for 21 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
We have a
That's
17-year-old. She's my best friend. She's the best person I've ever met. And when I met her, she was so sweet and nice, and I was all edgy and rough. And now I'm like to her. I go, baby, take a breath. Come on, let's 10 step the shit. Let's figure this out. Let's do a list. And because she goes to she's not an alcoholic. If she drinks 10 drinks a year, that's a lot, you know. But she is an ACA, which is an adult child of alcoholics on both sides. And she's married to an alcoholic. So she goes to Al-Anon. And so she knows the spiel and she knows what I go through.
That's great to have that shared language, right? You can be very isolated if you're so about being sober and someone else is so not.
Exactly. And that's the way it was earlier in our relationship because she didn't really get it. She understood what I said I was, but she didn't really get it. And then as time went on, and thank God for the Zoom meetings during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just, what a blessing that was.
Yeah.
Really. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious at all.
Right.
But it just, I'm grateful. My higher power, just everything in this world, there's give and take. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. You know,
Me too.
What did I just read about COVID that you became a life coach during COVID? Is that real?
I did. Hey man, I gotta take all these bad choices I've made and take them out and fucking monetize them, right?
Art, this life coach thing that you're talking about, I think this is, at first I was like, I get it. Like in the NBA, NFL, whatever, that the first of the season, the rookies have a person come around that has got in all kinds of trouble. The prison, played NFL, did this, killed somebody or whatever. And they sit and talk to the rookies and just put it out there. And it doesn't always help, but it is pretty inspiring. I think your story, your sobriety story is, and I'm sure there's a lot more. It's very visual.
We're right on the surface here. And I appreciate you saying that. Tom, you're what, 68 you said?
66 and a half.
66 and a half. Okay, so you're like 3 years older than me. Mm-hmm. You're going to remember this as a kid to make the analogy between what they do with the rookies, what you're telling me. Remember Scared Straight?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Now, that show, I give that show a lot of credit. My mom watched it because I was in and out of getting in trouble with the cops and this and that, and she made me watch it. And I don't know if you remember this cat or you ever saw it. I know they've done it a couple times, but basically they had 3 teenagers, took them into like
hardcore,
like
Max,
badass
prison, right, just like high security people that are never going to see the free light of day ever. And these guys are sitting there going, "You think you're tough?
Yeah.
You're going to be my bitch." And this is on national television. They have disclaimers. And they're like, "I'm going to fuck you in your tight little ass and just pinch your little dick off and blah, 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 blah." And I'm sitting there watching it with my mom I'm turning purple.
I don't want to pinch my little dick off.
But it worked. It worked. I was like, I don't want to go to prison. I won't do well in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the top. I'm not going to be that guy. That's just not the way I'm built.
Yeah.
I got the attitude, but I'm going to end up either with a shiv or something somewhere.
No thanks.
Let's get straight. Here's the thing. It was so powerful for me too, because the kids that went in there thought they were badasses. They were shitty. They were like, and when those guys exploded on them, it got, and you saw kids cry that probably never cried because they knew this is real. This will kill me. He'll rape me. He'll kill me, and I will never be a badass enough to save my own life. This is what it's like in here.
Yeah.
There's no around like hilarious,
It's when you actually walk to the edge and see the abyss for what it is, right? Like, this is it. One more step, and I'm in, and I'm never coming out again. And
Yeah, but wait, you watched that as a kid, but then you went on to rock out for several years.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry,
No,
just doing a little math here.
it just built my resolve that I wasn't going to get caught, and I never did. I think I was a little smarter than the average bear that goes to prison, because I just I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I really believe in a higher power who I affectionately call God. I don't believe in judgment and all that bullshit, but I do believe that we are a part of a spirit. And when we connect to that spirit is when we are our full selves. When we're open to that spirit is when we're our full selves. And before I go on stage, I pray, I just ask, please help me to remember the words, sing right, be a nice person, don't be sarcastic, don't be mean on stage, and don't fall down. So I don't know if you guys know it, but I was diagnosed with MS about 9 years ago.
Sorry.
So
wow, how's that going?
It's going. It makes everything a little bit harder, but being sober is way easier than having that. I've been blessed. There's a lot of people who have real issues. Look at Christina and Selma, and it just came on them so hard. I'm just a tough old bird, man. When you watch me walk, you think I'm drunk, right? And I have a T-shirt that goes, "I'm not drunk. I have I actually have a T-shirt that
That's awesome. That's where you on like a gang of pills. How do you do it?
Well, okay. So, I'm on a medication that's an infusion. I do it once a month, and that's doing pretty good. That's shrinking the lesions because I have lesions on my brain and on my spine. And basically, MS is my immune system, which is supposed to protect you, is trying to kill me because it sees those lesions as inflammation, as infection. So, Tom, when you're talking about sugar, I can't eat sugar, and I'm an addict. I fucking love sugar. I don't care how fat I get. I'd be Jabba the Hutt if I could eat sugar. But it hurts. It actually hurts my body to eat sugar. So when I have coffee, I put date syrup in it to sweeten it. And it's very low glycemic. I like it. I think it tastes good. But, I'll cheat maybe 3 times a year, 4 times a year. I've already cheated twice. I got 2 more coming up.
Don't go away, because after the break, our weird little trio compares notes on gratitude, our terrible tempers, and Art and Tom open up about a shared trauma in their past. What's up, Sober Cobras? This is Kat Greenleaf reminding you that if you like what you're hearing, head on over to our website, soberness.com, because there is so much more. Before you got on, Art, we were talking about, the people who say that they're grateful recovering alcoholics. And we were agreeing that maybe gratitude isn't the first word that comes to us when we think about our addictions. Do you?
Absolutely. Every day. Every day. I get up in the morning when I'm home or when I'm in the bus, and I get down on the floor and I just open myself up and I pray and meditate, And it's just amazing the calm I find. And I'm not a hippy dippy kind of person, man. I'm not. That's just not my vibe. But I do live in LA. I have an attractive wife who's in her 40s. So if you live in Los Angeles and there's an attractive white woman in their 40s or above, she's a witch. She's turned into a witch. Well, and I'm telling the truth, right? Reiki, all this shit. Out of nowhere, this hot little blonde fucking Barbie doll that I married, who has like a 160 Mensa IQ, during COVID, she was like, I got this weird feeling in my hands. Can you feel it? And she put it like this on my face, like 5 inches away, and it felt like this intense vibrating heat. And I never believed in that shit, the Reiki and all that stuff, sound baths. Guess what? We've got gongs at my wife's studio. She took over one half of my studio and does sound baths and stuff like that. And you know what? I don't judge it anymore because it's that connection with the spirit that we're all a part of. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to admit it. It's there. I know it's there. I've seen it. And it's just, to me, as far as gratitude goes, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my MS because it makes me work harder. I have to work harder just to walk to the bus. My bus is out here. I got to walk down. It's a pain. It's hard. It's hard. I got to walk up a hill. I'm going to do it. I got to do it, but I'm grateful because it makes me try harder. It makes me work harder. And I got to tell you, because of that, and I think because of my sobriety and what I've learned in the meetings and in the program, I know there's a lot of people who get, autoimmune diseases that kind of give up. And I think when you get complacent, that's when it gets bad.
Well, that's the other thing that with your story, I was looking at you like, I think he's about my age. I could, as you started sharing about the MS, how it has affected you, I was like, okay, I can't see that, but I could see how it would. And I could see the God thing. That's always been a thing. A lot of guys, these young guys, fuck God. I can't be a part of a program that's religious. I'm not religious. But my first sponsor said, I go, how do I do that? You go, see that doorknob? That's God. That's done. And what I do now is I look at my kids' eyes and I go, that's it. I didn't create all this. I'm amazingly talented with all this stuff. So it takes the pressure off me not having to go, I got to keep this up.
You just nailed the program. It takes the pressure off you because it's not on you. It's not on me. We can't do it. I can't stay sober on my own. I'm not a problem drinker. I'm not a partier. I'm in. I want to destroy me and everything around me.
Do you know why?
It took
Do you know why you're like that?
What's that?
You know why you're like that?
I've got opinions.
Let's hear them.
Well, I mean,
the mic is open.
I believe in the gene. I think there's a gene that people have, but my eldest daughter never thought she had it. She doesn't have it. My baby, my 17-year-old, when she was 2 years old, I'm like, she's got the gene.
Yeah.
And then when she hit 14, 15, went to high school, started hanging out with the stoner kids, vaping, doing all that stuff. Thank God she's put that behind her. She's working towards getting into college. She's going to a prep school now. We took her out of public school because it was too big. She just couldn't handle it. She's neurodivergent. And I just that was me. That was me. I wish I had those opportunities as a kid. I think I could have done amazing things. I say that, but then I think I did do amazing things. I'm doing
true. It's true.
I sold 10 million records.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest in the world? No. Do you know how many bands there are that never sell one record?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Millions, tens of millions. And
That's right.
I've learned to not just gratitude, what you're talking about gratitude, but also acknowledgement and I give people a break now. I give myself a break. That's the hard thing for us is to give ourselves the break and just acceptance of like, you know, you did. I remember, let me tell you one little story. So 1996, we get a platinum record, and Capitol Records sets up this dinner for us, and I go to my mom, who's a little hillbilly woman, who just mean as a snake. That woman, and I loved her fiercely, and she loved me fiercely. But I'm like, Mom, you're going to this thing. Nah, I'm not going to that thing. I'm not, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, you're going to it. I'm buying you. This lady called her and came over and fitted her for a dress. She got I picked her up in a limo in Portland, flight first class to LA. She had never flown first class because even though I had bought her first class tickets, she always traded them
I
traded them
love her. Oh my
because she
God.
didn't feel comfortable. She'd been poor. She grew up in the Depression. She was born in 27. Anyway, we get to LA. We get in the limo, and we're heading to this really swanky, fancy place in Venice. And paparazzi's there, MTV News is there, all this stuff, and we pull up, and there's crowds and stuff like that, and all these people, and she's going, "Boy, what the hell is this? Is this for you?" I go, "Yeah, Mom, I got a platinum record." She goes, "What does that mean?" I go, "It means I sold 1 million records to 1 million people." And it's like, she just couldn't understand that. She goes, "Like the Beatles?" I go, "Not quite like the Beatles, but yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah." Like
That's a great.
she goes, "I know that guy, and she just like looked at him and she's like, "That guy's from like the news." And I go, "Yeah, Mom, we're about to go out there and meet him right now." And she's just like nervous, and then she's just like, "Damn it, boy, I'm so proud of you. You did well. You did right." And that was
That's
the
good.
best for me. And then that little woman opened the door and walked out there, just head held high. "Yeah, that's my boy," and blah 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 blah. And just nailed it. Whereas a minute before she was like so scared to do it. That's where I get it. You asked where I got it? That's where I get it from my mom. She was tough as
That one moment. Her generation too. They weren't big. I love you. There's none of this. That's why when you get it, I'm getting a little emotional. It means a lot.
well.
It means a lot.
My mom always fought that stereotype, even though she was kind of gruff. I was her baby out of 5 kids, and that woman told me she loved me every day I was with her before I went to bed. She'd come kiss me at night with her false teeth in and scare the shit out of me. As I found out later, my mom had a little bit of a life in her late teens and 20s and had lived in Atlantic City and moved down to Savannah. And before she met my dad, the Greek guy who ran a diner and got her knocked up and took off to the other side of the country to LA. Then my mom had the baby and then took off and went and got him and brought him. See, tenacity. That's what it was. The tenacity and just like strength of will. And I'm so grateful for that she gave me that, both by nurture and nature, And
And Art, I was talking. There's a documentary series about my little sister called "The Queen of Meth." My little sister was the biggest drug dealer in America. And people are like, "Was it embarrassing having your sister be a drug dealer?" And I'm like, "Now when I was doing drugs, it wasn't embarrassing." But it goes a lot into our childhood. And as you're talking about your mom, I love you, and this. My mom, our mom, you see the thing, disappeared when I was 4. It was for the best, drugs or whatever. But I had a grandma though, was like that would I had the best grandmas who would come in and do all that stuff. I love you. I love you. I remember thinking this is annoying, but And I also had never seen a woman naked because if you grow up with a mom, but just at some point, so my grandma would lean over to her nightgown and I'd look at it and I go, so that's the deal, huh? But, I remember the worst things about my childhood, and I remember the best things. And the way you describe your mom is like she's a champion, man. She's a hero.
You know?
What she had to deal with, I can't even, your dad, whatever. So that's you're taking that with you and trying to live up to that. But I also try not to project. When my son does something, I know what you're up to. Because I'm thinking that's what I would have done. And I've been incredibly wrong. We have 21 cameras inside and outside the house. But these cameras are important as we get a little older. There'll be a controversy in the house, the brother and sister fighting. We'll sit down and watch it, and we'll watch the tape. And we've all learned a lot of lessons. My best lesson I learned is I'm so big. When I yell, even though my son's yelling at me, and he's big for a 12-year-old, he's bigger than me actually, but I looked at what that looked like, me yelling, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I looked and went, I have got to do better. That's not something that my parents would have given a shit about, but that's just, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm that guy.
That's my biggest one also, is yelling.
Yeah.
I'm really in it right now about the yelling. How do you guys handle it?
Well, that's the thing, and Tom, and probably you, Kat, as well. It's just I grew up being yelled at. That was a good day. That was because I wasn't getting hit in the back of the head with the rings. My mom had rings, and and man, and her name's Eleanor. Eleanor didn't fuck around, But I'm grateful for that. A thing happened to me when I was 8. My mom told me not to hang out with this one family of boys in the project, white guys, white kids, and because their dad was never around and he was a drunk and they just ran wild. And I went over to that house when I wasn't supposed to, and there was some young men there that were seeing their sister, and I got beaten and raped at the age of 8. And I didn't tell my mom. You know why I didn't tell my mom? Because playing around, I had found a 38, a gun, a cop gun, underneath my mom's mattress. My mom would have killed those boys. My brother would have helped them. I was 8, so he was 16. He was in and out of juvenile hall. He died when he was 21 of an overdose, when I was 12. And, the yelling, it's just that rage, right? It's just that rage and that frustration. And I'm scary when I yell. I scare men bigger than me. And my people tell me that. And I'm like, they're not afraid of me. But when I get that anger, man, people back up because I got the power of hell in me. My anger has been something that has been a thing with me and my wife. Never been physical with her, but I'm scary, and that's something that I've had to work on, and I'm still working on it. Not just my band, the guys I work with. It's hard when the people who are your friends are people that work for you. It's always been my band. I started the band. I saw what happened with bands who were like, oh, we're all for one for all. No, I wasn't playing that shit. I write the songs, I sing the songs, I play them, I produce them. Call it what you will. It's worked for me.
Now, Art, I have to ask you about the rape. I have a similar story. It was I was 4 to 7. Didn't want to tell my dad. The guy across the street, that guy, he said he had a gun. We live in a very farm. And my dad's car pulled up. He goes, you know how easy it'd be to kill him from here. So I was like, yeah, I can't let him kill my dad. He's the only thing I got. But later in life, and I want to hear how you dealt with it. A lot of people that are like us don't deal with it, and then they keep relapsing. Whatever. It's such an important thing. It's really important for men to tell their stories because rape and men. No, that doesn't. But it's rape. And my thing with my guy was when I first got sober, I got the clouds out back in 1989. I was always looking at these clouds, and they didn't mean anything. And then all of a sudden they were that. So I'm like, I have to find that guy because I don't want him at Walmart walking behind me in my hometown going, see the famous guy? I f***ed him. So I'm like, I'm going to jump on this. And with the help of my brothers, who are scoundrels, we found him. Big religious leader, very successful businessman. I practiced what I'm going to say so I didn't kill him, make it worse. You know, so I go to his place of business. I see the receptionist. She's like, oh my God, it's Tom Arnold, because it's in Iowa. I go, I'm here to see Terry Williams. And she goes, I'll tell him. I go, don't tell him. Where's his office? And so he comes out, and I start my spiel about here to give you back the pain and shame you caused me as a kid. And if you try to do that to me now, he came right up on me. He was a big dude. I haven't seen him since. And puts his finger and goes, your memories are wrong. Which means, to me, he's been confronted before. And for a second, I was 4. And I was locked in that closet. I could smell the laundry in his backyard. And then I went, I'm not 4. I'm a big man. Okay. They said, I'd break your neck. Everybody that worked for him came out and saw him. And I walked out of there like a ton of bricks off. I called Rosanna, who was married to, did it, you know. And eventually, 30 kids came forward. It's very satisfying. But Art, when did you first tell your story of being raped when you were 8?
Not until my late 40s, really. I didn't even tell my first couple of wives. I know I took my second and third wife, but I think I had put it back it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal. And then when I start to relive it through therapy, it was a horrible deal. It was just my mom was like, I had to lie to my mom, and because I was beaten up. I was 8 years old. It's a baby. That's a baby. You don't let an 8-year-old cross the street by themselves. And, and I felt guilty because I did what my mom told me not to do. She was trying to keep me safe while working 2 jobs and going to night school, And if I had done what she told me to do, I would have been safe. And I wasn't. And I never told her. And she died in 2006. In 2015, I finally dealt with it. I wrote a song about it. It's on the last record we put out, and it's called You. And if you listen to that, Tom, it's gonna connect with you. It's a really heavy, big guitar song, but and a lot of fans love it and they ask for it. And I'm like, I'm never gonna play that fucking song. I recorded it, I sang it, I wrote it. The catharsis is there. I can talk about it now with you. I can talk about it with other people. More importantly, like you, to protect people from other people.
Right.
To teach kids to protect themselves, and I go and talk to people and kids and stuff, about drugs and about fame, and it's just. But I always bring that up because it's important to me, because that's something like you were talking about, Tom. I mean, rape of girls and women, and I mean, basically sex until about 200 years ago was rape. Any sex really, and it's like, but boys get raped all the time and beaten and sexually just violated, and we need to shine a light on it and not be afraid. There's no shame. I was ashamed for years, as I'm sure you probably were. There's no shame. I didn't do anything. You were a fucking 4-year-old between 4 and 7. I was an 8-year-old. I was a baby. That guy was wrong.
You're like ashamed of me.
Guys, to answer your earlier question, I never saw those guys again. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
It's like maybe that's a gay thing, And I do, when I went back to my old neighborhood in Trumbull, Iowa, to talk to the other boys I grew up with, they did not want to talk about it because they thought it was a gay thing. Their sisters talked about it and were very helpful. But I also Never, my dad, I had injuries, and my dad would give me a bath. They go, Tommy, what happened? You're bleeding. I go, I was in the woods, and I slid down this tree limb, and it did that. I
You learn
could
how
not.
to lie. You learn how to
Yeah,
lie.
yeah. You learned how to lie, but you also didn't know what the was. Like it was. And then when I eventually got old enough for sex, they give you a thing at sex ed, and I read it what it was. And I'm like, oh, I've done that before. Not like this, but I've done it before. You know, but it's great. It's great. And I did tell my dad, and his face, he was so sad that had happened. Under
We
his,
can
he had
protect
no
you.
idea. Yeah.
Imagine not being able
So
to protect your children. That to me is the
yeah,
worst thing.
Do you both feel like your using was at that experience,
Absolutely.
that the rape was at the core of it?
I think so. I think so. I think I already had the gene because my brother had the gene, obviously. But I think there's different things that happen to us and the way we accept them, you know, that turns it. I don't know if your mom or your dad ever gave you a sip of beer when you were a little kid, you know?
I guess grandma.
And
Yeah.
most kids would go like that, and I was like, that tastes like candy. That tastes good. My mom would give me some shitty like Schlitz beer,
Yeah.
sip of it. I fucking loved it. I became that kid that would go with his friend to friends' houses for parties to clean up and for free. I'll do it for free, and I'd be back there hitting every bottom of the glass. I didn't even care if there was a cigarette butt. I took the cigarette butt out. Didn't taste as good. I didn't give a shit, but I drank it. I
Yeah.
became addicted to the buzz, to the dopamine. I don't do one. One bite ain't gonna do it for me. I take big bites. I don't understand moderation. Don't get it. I want it all. If I'm gonna have a piece of cake, I'm gonna have three pieces of cake. If I'm gonna feel like shit, I'm going all the way in. But it's like anything. Like I smoked cigarettes from the time I was 9 to the time I was 26, and then I stopped, and it was really hard to quit. And then when I was 42, someone gave me a little flavored cigar at a party. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You don't inhale it, right? Within 2 weeks, I'm smoking 6 to 8 cigars every day. Big Padrones, big cigars like that. $25, $30 sticks. And this is, 20 years ago. And I fall back into addiction quick during the fame, being in a band and girls just throwing themselves at me. I didn't say no very often, if ever,
Why would you?
because I was married. I was.
I got that part. I got that part.
It's not a mystery why I've been married 4 times, but
Right.
I finally figured out. Hey, don't screw around on your wife. Don't lie. And look, I've been with her for 21 years. I've never been unfaithful.
That is amazing because, as we know, if we do that once, it's in the air. If you tell a lie, if you do cheat, it's in the universe.
I hear people come back from it like, oh, she was unfaithful and I was unfaithful. We worked it out. That ain't me. That ain't my wife.
Hello, all you beautiful viewers and listeners. If you yourself have a great sober story or you want to celebrate your own freedom from fuckery, head over to our website, soberness.com, and tell us your tale in 300 words or less. Then I call you, we set up a time, and then we do a 10-minute interview, which will live on our website, maybe our socials, and then you'll get really, really famous, so it'll all have been worth it. That's www.soberness.com. So let me ask you guys both this. I know, Tom, we touched on this a little bit earlier. Fame, great power, great money. Has it, would you say it's buoyed your relationships or broken down your relationships? Because the power dynamic is real.
Both, I think. It depends on the relationships you're talking about. Look, for one thing, I'm not rich. All right, I do okay. But compared to how I grew up, I'm rich. If I had to see me as a kid in the project, I want to be that guy. You know. But really, all I ever wanted in my whole life after seeing the Beatles on TV when I was 4, all I ever wanted was to play rock and roll, have a family, have a house, not an apartment, not a housing project, a house. I didn't care how big it was, but to have a house that I owned. And that to me was living the dream. And basically, that's what I have now, you know? And this is the happiest I've been. When I was making way more money and I was sober, but I was dry drunk, and you guys know what I mean by dry drunk, I was miserable. I was making 10 times more money than I'm making now, and I was fucking miserable because I didn't, I, I wasn't connected to the spirit that I needed to be. I wasn't connected to my program. Even though I wasn't using drugs or drinking, I was lying, I was cheating, I was anger. You know, so many things create dopamine. Shame creates dopamine when you feel shame and you do things that make you feel shame. I understand that because I've been feeling shame ever since I got raped, right? And I understand that feeling. And I had to go through a lot of therapy and sobriety to understand that and not to find dopamine there now. Now I find my dopamine through much, much easier ways. Actually, football. I'm a huge Seahawks fan and a Dodgers fan because I grew up with the Dodgers.
Well, that's good. I know a lot of guys can't be fans. They miss out on so much. And I'd hate to not have that ability. And you know, it's the fame thing is good. As soon as you said Art was going to be on the show, my brain went, okay, I know a lot about him. Oh yeah, that's good. There's a shorthand, and people probably when they meet you, there's a shorthand, and it's an honor. It's an honor if they like the movie or music or, you know, you're like it's an honor. It doesn't make you go, I am that rock god. I'm the, you know, because by the time you get to where we are, Art, you've seen how the world works. You know, we're that big, this big world, and it takes all the pressure off of
We're
us.
not even that big, man. We're like a grain of sand.
I want to tell why I'm a comedian. Because when I grew up, the only time we ever heard our dad laugh is when there was a Bob Hope special on. And Bob Hope was a comedian. He'd go around to Vietnam or Korea, entertain the troops. He took beautiful women with him, which my dad loved. Did double entendre jokes, which my dad loved. And one of the first things I did in Hollywood was a Bob Hope special. So Bob Hope called my dad. He signed all this shit for my dad. And my dad, in the same living room that he used to watch Bob Hope when I was this big, now sees his son standing next to Bob Hope on TV. And that is Art, as you know, the magic that is, you know, possible with what we do when we've had the success we have. It is a weird thing. You think back to your 8-year-old self, you think back to my 4-year-old self, you're like, okay, look at this, man. That nothing kept me down. I'm doing this thing and it's good.
I'm about to ask you guys a question I hate when people ask me or ask anyone, which is, what would you tell your younger selves now?
Well, no, I talk about that in my song "You" that I was telling you about. I learned through therapy to basically go back to that 8-year-old in me and make him feel safe and loved. I don't know. That's my experience as far as that goes. What about you, Tom?
Well, stay the away from Terry Williams' house. What I would tell my younger self is it's gonna work out. You know, there's a lot of you got to work through, but it would be, you know, that one day everything would be fine. I'll be sitting here talking to Art and my future ex-wife here. Yeah, and
I would tell myself it's not your fault.
There's that too, right? You know, it's not your fault, and you know, like in my song "You" that I'm talking, YOU, is like I look in the picture and I see you looking back at me. So it's like I see this kid, this damaged 8-year-old kid, angry. Just after that happened, I stopped taking shit from people in the project. I started fighting. And I got to say, that anger has helped push me through life. Playing
that's
in
right.
bands when people, I'm sure you doing stand up. Stand up is the hardest fucking thing in the world. Way harder than playing in a band. You got a mic.
I'd rather die. It seems awful.
See, I'm kind of into it. It sounds miserable and humiliating and hard. I'm kind of attracted to the idea of it. You know, it's a chance. Like, fuck, I could do that. Fuck that. You know, and I could. I can't do it because I laugh at my own jokes. So there's nothing less funny than laughing at your own jokes. It's been so good being with you guys today.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you, buddy.
great. It was a threesome out of nowhere. That was really fun.
All right, good to see
All right, guys. Bye.
you. All the best to you.
Hey, real quick, if our episodes, The Sober Life or Freedom from Fuckery, connects with you, share it with anyone that you think would also benefit. As a self-funded podcast, it would mean the world for you to rate and subscribe or follow our podcast whenever you can. This helps our team find new amazing guests and continue improving our episodes for you. Thank you so much.